Here we go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome in on a busy Wednesday. We're on the road tomorrow. The Speedway City Garage Hauler Parade for NASCAR Main Street. And we've got coffee, we've got beer, and we've got celebration. Just celebration of hanging out coming up tomorrow. More on that in just a little bit. Fever coming up later on tonight. That tip time is at 8. Final game before the All-Star break. It is the Fever and Connecticut Sun. 7:30 right here. And it's Tidrow. Tidrow's got you covered here, 7:30. All-Star break shortly thereafter. Scott Agness is going to join me a little bit later on from Fieldhouse Files. I haven't really paid too much attention whether or not Sophie Cunningham, for example, is going to be active during All-Star weekend. I don't even know where it is. Frankly, I don't care. But if you don't have Sophie Cunningham a part of something on All-Star weekend, not necessarily on the All-Star team, I'm not suggesting that. But if you don't have her a part of something, what in the hell are you doing? What in the hell are you doing? She could, at the very least, get out there and shoot some threes, by God. I'm going to tell you that. And you'll probably get a little bit more notoriety. You know, when we say all the time that often the decision makers in the WNBA, or sometimes that of the Fever, can't get out of their own way, these are reasons why we bring that up. These are reasons why. I'm not suggesting you make this into a farce, but just get it going. I don't think as of yesterday, I haven't seen as of today if anything has changed, but as of yesterday, Kelsey Mitchell wasn't a part of it. Sophie Cunningham wasn't a part of the three-point shooting competition. Weird. Well, I'm sure it probably looks like, well, the raw numbers bear out like this. So you have one of the MVP candidates, and then you have the MVP of everybody's interest. Got to be a part of it. You got to be a part of it. I love this. This is one of my favorite stories of the day. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey reiterated that his conference leaders have had conversations about self-governance, but told ESPN the idea of the SEC creating its own rules is, quote, not new, and it's not a breakaway from the NCAA. I'm sorry. All, and I mean all of this comes down to last year. I love that IU has started all this. Everything is just fine when you're able to dictate terms. And then the terms that you dictate, it ends up turning into championships. And then the moment all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute now, what's this? Once upon a time, Indiana, the football team, right, the program, it was like the little engine that could. Hey, it's great. We're going to climb that hill. We're going to make some waves. We're going to play tough on a Saturday afternoon against a good Big Ten team. They used to be terrible, and now they're kind of good. It used to be such a cute story. I love it. You win a national title, and it's no longer cute. Nobody loves it anymore, except people around here. You have Nick Saban and, wanting political, and that's the last thing you should want. The political leaders can't keep track of their own crap. So sure as hell, they're not going to be able to do anything with sports. None of them played sports. How are you going to do that? Concentrate on the stuff. Concentrate on my guys that are going out there buying a box of Cheez-Its and you don't have to pay $5.50 for them. Concentrate on that. That'd be great. There's your concentration. I don't need our politicians veering away from their target job. Oh, here's what we have to do. We have to figure out this sports thing right here because all of us played in the 7th grade. Yeah, and then we kept stats in high school. Come on. But no, I love this. Everything was just fine when your league was dominant. When there was no question about the dominance of the SEC, everything is fine, and now everything is FUBAR. It's hilarious. I love it. Greg Sankey is such a whiner. That league is such a whining league. And I love the fact that you saw IU in this football program a year ago cut right through the middle of it, especially doing what they did to Alabama in the Rose Bowl. There's nothing better than that. That may have been my favorite game. I mean, hell, I went down to Miami and I watched them beat the Hurricanes on their home field. And people still want to argue that, well, that wasn't an impressive run. It was down teams and they had an easy schedule. They had to play the national title game on the home field of their competition, numbnuts. And nothing easy about it. They got done exactly what they had to get done. And you're going to say, well, this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen right now without James NIL, the transfer portal. Where would we be? I got news for you. There's a lot of stuff with all of us right now that's going on, and it wouldn't happen without something else evolving or taking shape or happening itself. But guess what we have to do? We have to deal with it. Hey, I wish I was still on an AM signal, James. They tell me I shouldn't be. And then what's his nuts is downtown sitting on top of it trying to sell it. Like that albatross of a building. Good luck. What is that, $35 million for that building?
That's what I think I heard last.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable in pricing. Very reasonable price tag.
You just love ragging on that building, man.
Yeah, I like ragging on Pat Walsh a lot more than the building, to be honest with you. And listen, I understand, like Jeff Smolian, he started this genre, and I have thanked him many times for that, but we all know how that ended, so I don't have to celebrate that part of it. I think that's fair, and I just try to be fair. But seriously, we all have to evolve in situations. Do you think I like to act like I'm 12 years old and do videos every single hour? I don't, but that's a part of it. It's evolving. And I would still think the way things have taken shape today, the way things take shape in college athletics, I mean, really, for me, I'm an Indiana State grad. That's the mid-majors are the ones that get screwed because they go out and find the talent that everybody else overlooks, and then they work with it, they cultivate it, and as quickly as humanly possible, once that talent gets an offer, they get the hell out of Dodge. They're done. That's where it's difficult. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Greg Sankey, stand up for Indiana State University. You big dork. Now, seriously, I love it. I absolutely love the whining because nobody cared. Nobody cared when everything was stacked in their direction. Nobody cared. You know what? That can hold true, too, for the Michigans and the Ohio States of the world. What you do is you evolve in the situation in which you're in. I don't know if I ever felt, going back to, I remember once upon a time I was quoted at a drunken pool party in Greene County by saying, yeah, you know what? I think this is 2015. Yeah, I'm going to start taking some responsibilities off of my plate. And, You kind of let others. But again, the circumstances dictated me taking the bull by the horns instead. And all of a sudden, man, it is work. It is work. It is work. 6 days a week I work. I never thought back in 2015 I was going to be working 6 days a week. And I know a lot of you work 6 days a week as well. And I'm not working a jackhammer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a tremendous wuss. Got a lot of people out there listening. They're in the farm fields. They're working their ass off. I come in here in the AC rocking this Owensburg shirt from 1978 and yap for 3 hours. That's nothing. But I never thought that I would be doing this as hard as I'm doing this at the age of 56. Why? Because the climate dictates me working as hard, because you look at the landscape that is offered out there, everybody that now is taking the opportunity, as they should, to provide those with open ears and open minds content, they're doing it. You can go to Best Buy and set yourself up for the studio, and you're off and running. So you have to continue to work. You just do. That is never going to stop. And it almost seems like the SEC in this case is not about wanting to continue to work. It's, we liked it really when the chips were stacked in our favor. What is this little Indiana thing going on here? Well, it's NIL. Where's Nick Saban? Can he go to Capitol Hill and whine about stuff too? But we can all sit here and gripe about it the entire time, but here's my choice. I choose to think it's absolutely hilarious, because you have IU football that is the defending national champion, and they've got the college football hierarchy, the history. The Blue Bloods, as I've talked about before, they got them all twisted. It's beautiful. All twisted. Just because of that. Because of a coach that had ideas, and because you have a new set of rules that the institution and the program take full advantage of. Man, that's exactly what everybody else in the world is doing right now. Seriously, it's a beautiful thing. I don't normally want to sit here and just rag on the SEC the entire time, but it's fun. Tell you what, get down to business. Kirby Smart, get down to business here. You got one of the biggest cheating crooks, weirdos in the world now coaching in LA. You've been all over the map. You guys don't care? All of a sudden you care about something? Don't care. All you care about is winning. I love that IU football took everybody's lunch money last year, because IU football had their lunch money taken for the better part of 4 decades plus, or at least until I was, even before I was born. Everybody was taking their lunch money. Now IU does it. IU does it. We can't live with this. We're going to break away. It's not breaking away. It's absolutely what it is, breaking away. It's like LeBron James trying to tell us he's not chasing a ring. There is nothing that is more defining of ring chasing than LeBron James. Ring chasing and hype embracing. That's what he's doing. Give me some love, and I want a ring. Give me some more love. I haven't had enough love yet. Can you give me some love? Hey, Rich Paul, can you go on every show imaginable now and give me some love? It's not about ring chasing. 100% about ring chasing. You're trying to leave no doubt in the comparison of all time against Michael Jordan. I want to leave no doubt, because people are always going to have doubt. Always. And I love this. Sankey's opening comments going back earlier this week with the SEC in mind. Quote, American culture expects March Madness to happen. He said they expect a Cinderella story. There's no bigger Cinderella story in the world than in 2 years doing what IU football has done. And then doing your big-time program in the process. That's beautiful. He didn't bring this up, but others do. When he talked about IU and their path to a national title, well, the regular season was so easy. They navigated they were unbeaten. Navigated the regular season, wiggled out of situations that other teams, I don't care how good you are, would not have wiggled out of given the circumstances. You had to win on the road in Eugene, Oregon, and then had to beat that same Oregon Duck team again. Alabama, the Rose Bowl, which was hilarious. And again, you had to beat your competition on its home field. And by the way, too, there was no semblance of it being the Miami Hurricanes home field because South Florida was packed full of incredibly rabid IU fans. I was there and I saw it. Couldn't believe it. Everywhere you went was like Bloomington, South Florida. It was awesome. I love it. This is exactly, if this is the world in which we're going to live in college athletics, then I would suggest that IU continue to feast. Others that are taking advantage of this continue to feast. And the old Blue Bloods are going to whine. We got that to discuss if you guys like. At 239-1070, 317-239-1070, that is on the text line today. That just stuck out to me. This does too. James, have you heard me say this before? I played high school baseball. I played softball. Now I was a catcher, so there was zero way I was going out there without this. I always felt one of the greatest inventions of my lifetime in terms of athletic equipment was the jock strap with a pouch in front. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a kangaroo jock strap. Mm-hmm. I love that because, I hit, a cup and you slide that right down in that pouch.
It's very smart.
There it is. Oh, it's savvy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I go back to the day where I had to, wear underwear and then something tied to the jock strap over the – it was not comfortable. And because I didn't have really – there was not a lot to hold anything then. My cup was sliding down my leg. Like if I ever made contact with a ball – and put it in play. I'm running first base, and hey, wait, hold on a second. I got to slow down. My cup is around my ankles right now. I'm dangling down there. But the invention of, and I don't know if they still, I have not, honestly, I'm not rocking jock straps too often anymore. I probably should, to be honest with you.
Not rocking one right now?
No, I don't play softball or baseball anymore. But my point is, I never, ever stepped on a diamond, seriously, without wearing a cup. Ever. Does anybody out there agree with me on this? Any dude out there agree with me? Have you ever stepped or not? Have you ever gone on a diamond and you've had this thought in mind? I'm never going on a baseball diamond, a softball diamond without rocking a cup.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See the Oakland A's player that fouled the ball off his sack?
I did. That
should really tell the entire world, why in the world am I out here without a cup? I'm assuming he was not wearing a cup, right? Well, if you ruptured your testicle?
Yeah, unless, the impact was so great that it, shock waves or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Fouled the ball off his sack. That's brutal.
I'm assuming he wasn't wearing protective equipment.
I think that most cups nowadays are made solidly. So I think even a major league level baseball player, if you foul it off your junk, that it wouldn't be as bad as a ruptured testicle.
Yeah.
I can't even say that without pain.
I never understood why people would not wear a cup. When I played rec football back when I was younger, middle school era, we definitely had people who chose not to go onto the field wearing a cup, and I never understood it.
Yeah, I'm a cup wearer. And I'm not rolling around well, I don't know. I should even say that. I better not. I think when you have to stop and think about it for a moment, you probably shouldn't say it. But, yeah, I've never really understood that. And what's funny about it is, I think most people in baseball, I think there's a higher percentage that don't wear cups. Here, let's text Tucker Barnhart and see the percentage of cup-wearing Major League Baseball players. I'll ask him that.
That would just be insanity to me. I mean, with how
There's
fast,
no way.
with how fast
No
people are
way.
pitching, and with
No
how
way.
fast those balls come off the bat, no,
way.
absolutely not.
And also, you have to also consider who you are, because it is more than likely that a hard hit ball is probably going to find your crotch. It's just the way that it is. Are you a lucky person? Unlucky person? It's probably going to find you.
Yeah, knowing me, my luck would run out pretty quick.
That's absolutely brutal right there. That was tough. I love that. James, please remind JMV there's such a thing as too much horn talk with a fella. Should be aware of it. Horn talk.
Horn talk.
No. There's not. This is sports, and this is something that is really important. And I've always said this. Never, ever go on a baseball diamond of any kind when you're going to participate without rocking a cup. Doesn't help you. It doesn't slow you down. I shouldn't say it doesn't hinder you from running. Agreed? I don't care what grade you're in.
Oh, I'm in agreement. Yeah.
It's weird how people universally do not agree with that particular statement. But it is absolutely true. All right, busy show today. We have tickets once again. You guys have been all over the tickets. And we have tickets once again for Garth Brooks. 4 shows in all. James, it has been incredibly exciting, has it not?
Oh, it has been. I mean, what was it yesterday? 70 plus, almost 80 people texted in?
Yeah, so Garth Brooks tickets coming up a little bit later on. I should mention, too, the Speedway City Garage, that is tomorrow. It will be, as I talked about this yesterday as well, absolutely outstanding. The Speedway City Garage, Founders Grounds Coffee, and Pax Verum Brewing. A variety of beers, and including a very light beer for me right there. Very low in calories. Just steps away from the world's greatest racetrack. And then tomorrow they have the NASCAR Hauler Parade going down in Speedway, Main Street. I have not been there. And I want to give a shout out to Jeff Matthews, who has invited us to be there. Now, it says Monday through Thursday, 6:30 to 8, Friday, 6:30 until 10. I'm assuming tomorrow is going to open up early for me at 3 o'clock.
I would assume.
Because it's going to be a Thursday of doing some drinking. And you guys all got to join me, the Speedway City Garage tomorrow. I want to give a shout out. I am a tremendous fan. I like him a great deal. I make fun of this often, which goes to show you just how mature I am. But our good friend, the baseball coach at Southport, he is the open upperer of the Southport Field House, and sometimes we have to play in the crappy auxiliary gym, but so be it. He opens the door so we can play pickup. James Boyd plays. Caleb will play. Others have played with us, too, here from the station. But he is involved in big league wiffle ball. It is professional wiffle ball. True story. His team is the Green Apples. Now, when he is unable to open up the gym for pickup, I call it wiffle blank and make fun of it a little bit. But the Star has a story on him, and Brendan Dudas, again, the Southport baseball head coach, is one of the best dudes out there. Let me say once again, as I stated in an X message last hour, Perry Township Schools and Southport, certainly, you are incredibly fortunate to have Brendan Dudas as a part of it. Educator, coach, player, weekly gym opener-upper. He's just a great dude. And there is a story about him in the Indianapolis Star. I think Akeem Gillespie has the story. Big League Wiffle turns kids' game into big-time show, and Indy players are at the heart of it. The New York Green Apples, James, and they actually get in front of 300 people and inside. Now, I make fun of it all the time because I think if you even are able to make contact, that you should be given a hit because these guys rarely make contact. Have you ever seen these guys throw a whiff? I mean, it is all over the place. No. Yeah. You have to watch it sometime. Seems like a rarity when contact is made. but it is pretty awesome nonetheless. So just a thought on that with our good friend Brendan Dudas of Southport High School. He is a tremendous dude. That is a tremendous story. Also, if you're asking, the B105.7 comedy night that's going to go down at Mad Hatter. It is officially sold out. It took all of 2 days to sell that thing out. That's incredible. All of 2 days. Mad Hatter in Greenwood. That is the Saturday before the Colts open up against Baltimore. But it's me, Sean Copeland, I think Annie, and Nick Jordan, who does afternoons. We're doing comedy, and a lot of you have asked about it. I got asked to do it because of the JMV takeover, and I am down, and it is officially sold out, which is pretty awesome. And they're trying now, I think, to get us to do another one. But now, hopefully, you got your tickets. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there might be one or two left, but I believe it's officially sold out. B105.7.com is where you go to find that out. All right, Garth Brooks tickets we got for you. James is over there. I'm John right here. Kevin Bowen, top of the 4 o'clock hour. Scott Agness. He will go with us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk Fever, All-Star break. We'll talk Pacers, off-season officially right now. Tyrese Halliburton, married officially, tying the knot. We got that and more for you. And again, the downplay of the Pacers because of a 19-win season or because a complete lack of belief, unlike the organization in this core group. Fever in the Sun later on tonight. Tip time, 8 o'clock, 7:30. Ted Rose got you covered right here. Don't go anywhere. And, of course, Brickyard 400 weekend on the inbound. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. Let's get you weather updated courtesy of Fox 59.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back to the show. Downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, where we don't give a fat crap where LeBron James ends up. Not a fat crap. James, I absolutely love this song. Do you?
It's a good one.
You like The Clash?
This is honestly probably the only song I can name off the top of my head, but I like this song.
Man. The album is called Combat Rock, and it is an awesome early 80s album. Oh, now you got to crank it up here. Just keep it rolling for us on this Wednesday, James.
So this is 80s. I thought it was 70s.
So did anybody ever get the lyrics wrong around anybody to this song?
What
Rock
was
the Cat Box?
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
There are a lot of misheard and misidentified lyrics that are roaming around out there all time.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this yesterday. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, most people believe that to be the lyric. It is revved up like a deuce, which is
like
a car.
Deuce. Oh.
Not wrapped up like a douche.
Wrapped up like a deuce is still kind of funny, though.
Wrapped up like a douche. You ever think now? You ever think about maybe we should have gone with wrapped up like a douche? But you get really get the best out of both, I think, right there.
I mean, would they have been able to? I don't know what year this was, but
78, probably.
78,
77, 78. Man for Man.
That probably would have
Blinded
gotten
by the light. Yeah.
Parental advisory or something back then, wouldn't have?
Man, nobody cared back then. It was
really?
just free for all. Basically, let's put it on there. Because remember, that was a point in time when people used to play albums backwards and think that there were satanic verses involved.
What was it?
Because
the
people
theme
were
song?
so stupid. Yeah.
What was the theme song from Mr. Ed? Wasn't that one of them?
Yeah. Anything Ozzy Osbourne ever came out with, yeah, it was all pointed in that particular direction. All right, I asked this question regarding Major League Baseball players currently, the percentage rocking cups when they run out onto the field.
We got an answer?
Tucker Barnhart, former major leaguer. Less than half.
Oh, no.
Less than half Major League Baseball players wear a protective cup. I can't fathom that. Can't fathom that. Surely there's never a catcher not to wear one. You're not that stupid, are you?
I would hope not.
My goodness.
Just sounds like a roll of the dice every time you step out on the field.
According to Tucker Barnhart, less than half of Major League Baseball players wear a protective cup. Thus, when you foul the ball off your sack, you're probably going to have a ruptured testicle.
Now, did Tucker wear a protective cup?
I didn't ask him that, but I can. And I can't imagine. He was a catcher, so I can't imagine he didn't.
I'd hope so. I hope he did.
And even when he pitched, I think, a couple of times. So maybe played in the field a couple of times. I'm assuming every single. You just do. Reds and Mariners coming up later on tonight. Or I should say this afternoon. Sorry about that. 3:40, in fact, coming up in a couple of minutes. Getaway day for most of these teams, especially those on the road on this particular Wednesday. So, yeah, the Reds and Mariners out in Seattle are just about ready to get things officially underway. If you were paying attention last night, Cubs 11-2 over the Tigers. I guess making up for the night before, the Cardinals did not. A 5-1 loser on the road against the Angels, and the Reds a 4-2 winner. Chase Burns has been absolutely outstanding now. He's about ready to exhaust his innings limit, I guess, with the Reds this season, but 12-1. 2.42 earned or on average. If there has been a bright spot in the season, I'm assuming that there are a couple of bright spots there, but Burns would probably be at the top of that list. Burns probably, along with Stewart. I know Stewart's average has dropped, but I think everybody's still happy with that. Ellie, 280, hit another home run yesterday. The rest of it can kind of just eat it. Rest of it kind of stinks. Casey brings this up too, by the way, James, and this is Casey Simpson's musical knowledge. Springsteen's original lyric on Blinded by the Light was cut loose like a deuce. I have no idea why Man for Man changed it to revved up like a douche. That is a good call by Casey Simpson right there. Springsteen original. It's a good call. John Stewart said, yeah, that song was originally written by Bruce Springsteen. Most commonly, however, referenced in Man from Man in the song, Blinded by the Light. True story, though. Classic. JMV from Brandon, 4th grade, hit a double rounding first. My cup falls out of my pant leg, and I'm safe at second. Then I have to walk back and get it. How embarrassing. And we all have gone through it for the protection. I completely understand why. Makes perfectly good sense. It really does. Yeah, the whole all-star thing with no invite, whether it's Kelsey Mitchell shooting threes or Sophie Cunningham shooting threes, I think they had, 4 players over the 40% mark shooting threes. That whole thing is kind of weird. We'll get to that with Scott Agness coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Tucker Barnhart says, always, the only guarantees are catchers. It's probably closer to a third wear them. That might even be high. The only guarantee would be catchers wearing them.
So catchers near 100%.
Got to do that, yeah.
That's at least something.
That was ruptured testicle. I don't even like saying that. That's tough.
Yeah, that is a very uncomfortable pairing of words right there.
Incredibly uncomfortable. JMV, completely agree regarding what you said about Greg Sankey. Oh, now everybody's up in arms. Everything is wrong with everything now. When, again, the chips are not stacked in your favor. And listen, it's not like IU went out there and said, hey, you know what, if we do this, they just saw the landscape of college athletics, in particular football, and then took advantage of it. And I'll also argue this, while you take advantage of it, you also still have to select players that will get the job done for you. And you can call that cost-efficient players that get the job done for you. That's how it ultimately works. That's how you end up winning a national championship. You know, it's funny, I always bring up this Brad Stevens quote when he was the head coach of the Butler Bulldogs. Everybody has to be pushing in the same direction to get those elite level, high level results. Well, everybody at IU in the football program, they were finally pushing in that same direction. And I mean everybody. And when you're allowed to go out and do now what you're allowed to go out and do, playing by the rules, because those are the rules, when in the past, it was drastically different. And then the SEC teams would always take advantage of it. It's kind of funny. But no, we're on the same page with that. Yeah, the whole Nick Saban stuff's got to drive you nuts, doesn't it? Now, everything is wrong. Listen, maybe if we were someplace else, we wouldn't like it. And I said this yesterday regarding Caitlin Clark. If you were outside this market and you were a fan of another WNBA team, you may not like Caitlin Clark. But around here, people have allegiance to IU football and allegiance to the WNBA's Indiana Fever. And you're going to embrace that. But it was incredibly savvy. You can't take anything away from Scott Dolson and IU for doing what they did. It just seems like that everybody else certainly was more comfortable in them being the ultimate laughingstock of college football than the college football kings. That's ultimate payback, too. Essentially, that is the ultimate payback that you are giving for being the doormat, not just for decades, but the doormat absolutely forever. Or at least until last year. JMV, YouTube, Yadier Molina, catcher, St. Louis, ruptured testicle. Maybe he wore a cup. I'm assuming somebody could probably throw it hard enough to break a cup, but I mean, really, you just essentially have to be just standing there all spread eagle and let somebody throw it right at you.
I
don't think he was doing that.
I don't think so either, and I also don't really want to imagine a scenario in which that happens.
Maybe there was a little compromise, situationally speaking, right there, and he had maybe an overflow, an overlap. I don't want to think about that either. Thanks for bringing it up. JMV talking about sack protection during a 100-meter race. My fellow runners.
Oh, man.
Sack popped out in the middle of the race. He evidently forgot the basic protection. That's happened before, though.
Probably multiple times.
I'm going to tell you, though, in baseball, as I mentioned, too, the greatest invention of my time playing baseball was that, because before that, there was no little pouch there. When they invented that pouch, I believe it was Bike. Bike was the jockstrap maker back then, Bike. They made shorts. I'm assuming they're still a manufacturer of athletic gear.
You know, I'm not too versed on my jockstrap
You never wore any bike?
manufacturers.
You never wore any bike gear? Who out there, let me see a show of hands, who wore bike gear? Most coaches, baseball, basketball in the day in my era wore extremely tight bike shorts, and they had buttons in the front, so you could essentially it was comfortable in wearing them if you had a belly that hung over. So a lot of the coaches had bellies that hung over, so it was almost like they were wearing a girdle of sorts. If your belly hung over.
This has been a real thrilling first hour so far.
Bike shorts. Sports manufacturer. Bowen, top of the hour. Scott Agness is going to join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Somebody's going to win Garth Brooks tickets a little bit later on, too. I should mention me and Tyler Reddick. That is coming up on Saturday morning, 9 until 11. The Speedway, or check that, I'm sorry, near the Speedway, but Crawfordsville Road, the Kroger location. We shall be there with Outlaw Light Beer. Have you heard about it? Outlaw Light Beer. And evidently, somebody told me you can get like a case of 30 for maybe 16, 17 bucks. So Paradise Day Watson is going to be rotten with Outlaw Light Beer this weekend. I'm just going to buy it all for everybody.
It's going to have a surplus there.
Surplus of Outlaw Light Beer. 9 until 11 with Tyler Reddick. Last check, second in the point standings, Brickyard 400 this weekend. That is the Kroger location on Crawfordsville Road. And then shortly thereafter, an hour later, Greg Rakestraw and I, noon until 1:30, a little Saturday NASCAR weekend, Brickyard 400 weekend primer for you. About 90 minutes or so. Tucker Barnhart tells me, by the way, we'll tie a bow on the cup here. They make a bulletproof cup. That's what I'd get. I'd go with the bulletproof.
A bulletproof?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Seriously, I mean, if you want, I would just go all the way with it. All right? The family need protection.
Don't take
chances.
chances.
So you protect the family. I would go with the bulletproof cup. Plus, I just want to say, hey, my cup's bulletproof. That'd be cool. That's what they make. Ain't no BS right here. That's coming from a former major leaguer. Bowen, top of the hour. You and me on the other side. If you're on hold, I'll get to you. If you're not, you want to get there, that'd be fantastic. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Sit tight. Oh, Mark Dietel Realty for whatever you need right here. The best in realty. 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com or DIETEL.com today. All right, so you don't need the services right now. You're sitting tight, understand, but at some point you will. For example, like Sarah in Fountain Square. Here was the situation. Invested in a property, Fountain Square, ran into some financial tangles, needed to sell and do that thing rapidly after hearing right here about Mark Dietel. Hired Mark Dietel, was able to sell the property within weeks for over list price. So really doesn't matter about the situation. I've just described to you downsizing, maybe empty nesting here or upgrading with the family needing more space. But there are a lot of options out there. You want to go with somebody that is versatile, can get the job done. In fact, Mark Dietel, the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you could cancel at any time. So as I always remind you, if you need the number right now, Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. But if you don't, make sure you file it away for future use because at some point you will. 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, markdietel.com today. Hey, John here, and I know we have really nice temps right now, but on the weekend, have you seen like 90 hot and humid again coming up on Sunday? Hey, Big Red Liquors powers the JMV takeover every Saturday night on B105.7, and, well, much like New Edition used to, this is cool it now, and for you, they will cool it down. Ice cold beer, Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, 16-ounce, 18-pack cans. You're going to save a couple of dollars there. Michelob Ultra, 16-ounce aluminum bottle, 12 packs. Also in savings. So you want to go with something a little bit thicker. It's got a little bit more oomph to it. How about Guinness? 8-pack cans. You're going to save $5. Twisted Tea, the family of Twisted Teas, 12-pack cans, $5 off. And you can go without it. Michelob Ultra Zero, $2 off. And, of course, the double shot home. High Noon Hard Seltzer double shots. 8 packs. You're going to save there as well. That's with Big Red Liquors. Powers the JMV takeover every Saturday night on B105.7. It is the place you got to go. 100-plus locations, one near you to make sure your weekend is complete. Check out that location and even more deals you can find online right now, BigRedLiquors.com.
The Ride with JMV.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries.
It's quite pungent. It stings the nostrils.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All of this celebration of crappy Arrowhead Stadium, my entire life, is about set to come to an end. The Chiefs unveiled today the first renderings for their new stadium in Kansas. Not even Kansas City, Missouri. It is scheduled to open, James, for the NFL's 2031 season. So, Kansas City, Kansas, $3 billion, fully enclosed domage. Remember when everybody used to say, you guys play in a dome, you guys play with a roof? That's not real football. Okay. Shut up, Mama's family. You guys are going to be under a dome, too. I don't know. Am I going to still be here in 2031, though? I'm skeptical about that.
You'll still be here.
Will I?
I mean,
I
it's
don't
only,
know. I think it's a flip of a coin at this point.
I mean, it's only, 4.5 years away at this point?
Is it really?
I mean, we're halfway through 2026.
Let's see. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You'll still be here. Now, am I crazy, though? Because I feel like every one of these new stadiums nowadays, though, kind of looks the exact same.
They do.
Other than I like the Bills' new stadium, but all of these, like, indoor stadiums, they all kind of look the exact same.
That Nashville one, too.
Nashville,
that's coming up.
Yep.
So, fully enclosed dome, a ceiling of translucent, I can't pronounce whatever these panels are, tetrafluoroethylene.
It's the SoFi Stadium look.
Yeah. Don't give me these big words. I'm Greene County. Get over it. The new stadium's design also pays homage to Arrowhead Stadium, the Chiefs' longtime home venue in Missouri. Yeah, you can't do that, though, if it's indoors. And all this, too, it's for the luxury and the suites and the money and the money-making, but it's also, Kansas City's going to end up now getting a Super Bowl. That's what this is all about.
Well, and they can bring in Taylor Swift and all the big bands during the winter months and have them play there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Final Fours will be there.
Oh, yeah.
They had, can you look this up? That was the last Final Four. This is like a crossover conversation brought to you by Love Hitting in Air with Jake Query and I. Was the last Final Four in Kansas City, was that Kemper Arena? Was that 1988 in Kemper Arena? Was that Danny Manning and the Miracles?
That was 1988.
88. Yes. Kemper Arena.
Kemper Arena, yeah.
Oh, how it has changed. Kemper Arena's dump. Oh, how that's changed.
I think it's called the Hy-Vee Arena now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the one that when they have the Big 12 basketball championship, it had that gray floor and everybody was sliding around like they were playing on ice.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Or playing in the West Gym at Center Grove with the floor being dirty, one of the two. Sliding around everywhere. I will say the artist renderings of this do look kind of cool.
They look cool, but I still think, it's a big corporate stadium. They all kind of look the same. They're all kind of cookie cutter at this point.
So, I mentioned this. You think I must still be alive in 2031?
I believe so.
You think I'll still be alive when they build another stadium here? Will they ever build another stadium here? And before you say they'll never build another stadium here.
Lucas Oil is almost 20 years old at this point, so it could happen sometime in the next 20.
Will I still be with us when there's a new stadium built?
Oh, you'll still be with us. You'll still be on the air. You'll still be probably working 6 days a week.
Put it right over there on Mass Ave by Bottle Works. Yes. So you guys are suggesting I'll still be. I hope I am still with you, as long as I have my faculties and stuff. If I'm all discombobulated and yeah, one of these days it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Just like this break. Quick break. We'll come back. Top of the hour. Kevin Bowen, Scott Agness, over an hour away. Garth Brooks tickets as well. Stay right there. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Have you not turned your yard, your landscaping into a sanctuary yet? The place that you love? If you haven't, Sundown Gardens in Westfield, Miss M's home and garden in Burgersville. Take advantage of the deals going on right now. Up to 50% off and savings here. Refresh your containers and add color to your yard with 50% off annuals. That is 50% off of annuals. Go big with 20 to 40% off container trees and shrubs, 20% off perennials. Your dream outdoor living space also can utilize sales on pottery, fountains, and in-stock patio furniture, all 30% off. The gift shop is robust, too, at Sundown and Miss M, saving up to 50% off of select gifts now through the end of the month. These are must attend here. You ready? Sundown Gardens in Westfield, 186 in Spring Mill Road. Tell Scott and the gang up there I said hello. Or Brian and my friends at Miss M's on State Road 135, just south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
The Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding? You think I'd join this crummy snobatorium? But this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
So those of you that are asking me, this shirt that I'm rocking right here, it says my hometown of Owensburg. 1978 right here, James. 1978 original.
78, wow.
These letters are ironed on.
That's in good condition for being 1978.
I look like, with the blue and the yellow, I kind of look like Fred Dryer sitting here from Hunter.
I honestly thought you were wearing a retro Pacers shirt when you walked in. Yeah.
I was thinking Rams, like the old
That
school
would
with
work
Fred
for the
Dryer.
Rams too, yeah.
Fred Dryer used to be on the Rams, and then he ended up getting an acting career, and he was most noted as playing Hunter in the 1980s, I think early 90s. Was Stephanie Kramer his co-star in Hunter? She was kind of smoketacular, James. Stephanie Kramer co-starring with Fred Dryer in Hunter.
What year was this film?
Was it maybe 86 through 91? Hunter. I bet you could find the theme song of Hunter, too.
Oh, it's a series. Gotcha.
Series, yeah, NBC series. It was
Stephanie Kramer. Yeah, you're
Stephanie right. Kramer, yeah. She played a hooker once, undercover hooker. Johnny approved. It was Johnny approved. Riptide. Was it Riptide? Remington Steele and Hunter on Tuesday nights back then. Riptide.
Riptide
was a good show. Or was it, was it A-Team, Riptide, and then Hunter? But I was going with the Fred Dryer look right here. Fred Dryer was a badass. Fred Dryer was the television version of Dirty Harry Clint Eastwood. Remember all the Dirty Harry films throughout?
Oh, yeah.
He was essentially the Dirty Harry, the Clint Eastwood, but on TV, the TV version.
So
that was Fred Dryer.
So just kind of a cold badass the whole time?
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah. Yeah, he wasn't putting up with any crap. That's for sure. And he's a former LA Ram. Fred Dryer. So, no, this shirt goes all the way back to 1978. Owensburg Founders Day. We had a festival, oddly enough, in early August. And the reason why it ultimately was moved, James, and then they just don't do it anymore because there's not enough people to back it up. But the reason why it was moved is because when the Brickyard started in the mid-'90s, 1994, all of the Orangeburg Town rednecks would go to the Brickyard race, and all the old people will be there by themselves. It was a combination of the Brickyard, and because it was 95, and if you're 95 years old out in the 95-degree heat, that was not a great combination.
That makes
and then they ended up moving it. I think they moved it to September, and now it's gone. I was in that parade, I bet, no less than 6-7 times.
Oh, wow.
Riding my motorcycle.
Oh, you had a whole motorcycle.
You know what my favorite thing to do in the parade? The Founders Day parade in Owensburg, Indiana, in Greene County. My favorite thing to do?
What was it?
Because the horses would be in front of us and on their floats, and they would poop. And then I would get my motorcycle and spin out and spin poop all over the motorcycle riders behind me.
That does sound like a very you thing to do.
That is very me.
Yeah. How old were you, by the way?
Oh, I was 8 in 78,
Okay.
so I probably did that up until I was 14, maybe, something like that, and then I was done.
It's probably way less cute when you were 14 than when you were 8.
When I was 14, I probably got my ass whipped.
Probably.
But, no, seriously. Owensburg Founders Day, and for those of you asking, this is a 1978 original right here. Actually, I believe this belonged to my dad right here. One of the few things that I have that belonged to my dad. I think this was it right here. On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he's been waiting for a while. He's allowing me to reminisce. He's from the morning show along with James Boyd and Mark Dykton. When Mark Dykton's not on vacation, Kevin Bowen is with us. Hello, Kevin. How are you, buddy?
I'm with James. I thought it was like ABA Pacers throwback when I first saw you earlier today. Give me that one more time. What you're rocking?
I am rocking an Owensburg shirt, Owensburg, Indiana. That's my hometown. And this was created for the 1978 Founders Day. And Founders Day started in 1976, and I think went through maybe, I think it ended the last 5 or so years. But it was always in early August, Kev, and it always came around. It was the precursor to knowing that it was time to go back to school. We had 2 festivals where I'm from that basically told you when they were done, it was time to go back to school. And that was Founders Day in my hometown of Owensburg and something called Old Settlers, which is still going on in Odin, Indiana right now. Once you got clear of that, then basically you had a week or 2 before you went back to school. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it looked pretty cool, so I'm glad there's some sentimental behind that.
You ever spin out a motorcycle tire and horse poop like I used to all the time and throw it on dudes behind you?
Boy, I can't say I have. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you were doing, but you missed out, buddy. You missed out. Let me tell you. I look back at my existence. I don't know how I didn't have my ass whipped like every week. Seriously, I have no idea. None.
Hey, you've survived this long. You survived your basketball weeknights and weekends, and no dust-ups there, so you're good to go.
Our boys love it, don't they? Your pods love it in the morning, and they enjoy. They are. You can count on them to show up every time, and that's more than half the battle right there.
Yeah, I mean James especially. I feel like has found a big time groove with you guys and has enjoyed it. And I think it sounds like Caleb's been a nice addition as well. So yeah, I love hearing about it, frankly. And James said he was a little sore this morning, actually, which he usually doesn't say that.
He rolled his ankle last night too. Yeah, James put on a headband last night, and after he put on that headband, it went 1 of 5. I told him to lose the headband. He was 1 of 5 rocking the headband. That wasn't working.
Was that a different look for him? So he's usually not a headband guy?
He's not a headband guy at all. And when he put that headband on, he went 1 of 5. See, everything that I do is a reason behind failures. So when I'm out there, I start with my shirt tucked in, but the moment I miss my first shot, the shirt comes out. Because that's the reason why. Yeah, I'm a little bit tight, I'm not getting full extension because I'm tucked in right here. The shirt comes out on my first miss. So I told him, I said, man, you got to lose that headband. You're 1 of 5 right now.
You're the high school basketball coach that rocks the jacket, and then the first time he's mad, he's throwing the jacket, and he hits his JV kids behind the bench.
Well, I don't know about you. I am incredibly superstitious. And it is weird. It's almost like that I kind of pick and choose my superstition. But if I'm thinking about it in the moment, I am 100% superstitious. Are you?
I am really not, which is kind of surprising because I think, like, my wife would certainly say, like, I'm a pretty routine-oriented person. Like,
me too.
I like structure and things like that.
Me too.
But, yeah, when it comes to sports superstitions, I'm just not I'm not that person.
Yeah, I've always been. I don't step on a crack in the sidewalk. I don't walk under a ladder. Seriously, 2 weeks ago, a black cat crossed my path, and I stopped, turned around, went the other direction. It's weird.
So you are really superstitious.
And I have to be thinking about it at the moment. But I'm sure there are some moments where I'm not thinking about it, and I let it go by. But yeah, I always want to keep the odds in my favor. Does that make sense? I always want to keep whatever odds there, like the universal, the stratospheric odds, I want to try to keep them in my favor. So I think whatever I can do to be proactive about that, then I'll do it.
What's your free throw routine?
I dribble, bend, dribble, bend, dribble, bend, shoot. 3.
Where 3 dribbles? Where are you putting your hand? Are you putting your hand somewhere specific on the ball? Are you
I find the nail in the floor, so I center cut the goal with the nail on the floor. My right foot goes there, left foot further out, and I dribble, bend, dribble, bend, dribble, bend, and then make sure that I'm using a lot of my legs when I get into the free throw, and then let it go like that. So, and it's funny, like I grew up in the era in which everybody was being Steve Alford. So everybody, did their sock routine and all that. and then shot it. But mine was a little bit different, and I had a coach in Bedford, Indiana, back when, even before Steve Alford, that taught me how to do that. Taught me to center cut, and there wasn't a nail in the floor at the time. You just kind of had to center cut it yourself, but center cut the goal with your right foot, and then make sure you utilized a lot of your lower body in it. And thus, I shot 92% in my senior season,
Ooh.
So it worked, yeah. It worked.
Wow. Say no more. Yeah, I'm a 2-dribble spin to find the air hole and then put the palm on the air hole and shoot it.
Yeah, I just make sure that the rotation the rotation with the seams of the ball is right. I don't look for the air hole or any of the words or letters or anything. Just kind of get my right hand on that. But no, everybody I'm assuming has a routine, right? Wait, is there a best routine out there, you think? Is there ever been a routine free throw shooting that you thought was cooler? But to be cool, you have to work. You have to have results. But to be cool and have results.
I remember when I was younger, Bracy Wright would do a couple feet behind the free throw line. Like he would shoot it a couple steps behind the foul line, which you occasionally will see. And, Bracy Wright he was a pretty good shooter. So I remember when he did that, I was kind of like, "Ooh, boy, is this something here?" I feel like I did Reggie. Reggie would do a bunch of dribbles, right, and then a big old spin. But he had such a funky release, really. But yeah, it's funny. I'm not superstitious, but then here I am talking about a free throw routine. But I feel like people can tinker with the free throw a whole lot. So.
Hey, Kev, I think everybody has a little bit of superstition that they abide by, even if they don't proclaim it. You don't have to be 100% superstitious, but I think everybody has a superstition or two that, again, they adhere to or abide by in a case or two. Maybe it's just one, but I think most people do have that.
Are you a fan watcher superstition like Reds? Are you hey, if this inning it worked here, am I staying here or no?
Let me tell you this, and this is the reason why, when Mike Preston and the Pacers don't send players my direction, it really pisses me off, right? You know this to be true. And I talk about it all the time. For every game that I was at home, so these were all road games, and I went with Tommy S., Tom Sutton of coaches to most of the home games, but every game I was at home, sat in the same spot the entire time. And it, more times than not, led to, what ultimately was a win. Now, obviously, we saw how that ended in Game 7 with Halliburton's injury and what that did to last year. But, yeah, I was all in it for the squad. I was all in it for the organization. I was all in it for the fan base around here. I do abide by rules when it comes to that, and I did it with the Pacers the year before last as well in the postseason.
Look at this. I would not have pegged you being the nth degree superstitioner. You're a little lawless in my eyes. So
I've got a screw loose. There's no question about that.
Wow. Yeah. As good as the sun rises from the east tomorrow, I could have told you that. But,
I do have a bit of a screw loose, but no, it's just weird. Sometimes it's just. You abide by the superstition because it's easy to do. You're just thinking about it in the moment. But there are a lot of them in which I certainly do. Kevin Bowen of the Fan Morning Show. James Boyd, and Mark Dykton, and Kev's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I did have this thought for you as we get close to the start next week of camp, and I know you guys in the morning show are going to be out there a great deal, and so will Jake. I'm curious. Let's just say, for example, and this is not what a lot of people want to hear, but let's just say the inevitable negativity happens and things don't work out for this team. Is this a situation where Chris Ballard and company go, is it everybody in a reset, or does Shane Steichen at all, you think, in a situation like that, deserve to continue coaching the team? And I know a lot of it may come down to what we see this season, but just take it from a circumstance of what we have witnessed so far. Would you keep the head coach and then everybody else you reset?
It's a great question. It's one I'd try to throw Carly Ursay Gordon's way a little bit, I guess, might have even been over a year ago at this point, and she didn't really take it any sort of direction, because I do think when you're handing out individual grades to Ballard and Steichen, I do think they are different grades. I think some of that is purely sample size. Like, to me, the longer you are at any job, especially a GMO football team, I just think it's more of a critical evaluation. It's more of a intense grade. So, 9 years to 3 years to me is really different. Having said that, I'm just such a believer that once you clean house, you have to clean house. Which, I don't know. Yeah, you could change Steichen. Would James and I were discussing this earlier this week. If Steichen and Ballard got fired tomorrow, or let's just say January, I'd venture to guess Steichen would have many more head coaching interview opportunities and Ballard would have GM interview opportunities. So I do think league-wide, Steichen's probably viewed a little bit more in a positive light. But again, I think if you were making me choose, I would start over. But again, Carly's decision and how she views that, I'd be really curious. It just seems like any arranged marriage, it's just tough. I know there are examples. I think San Francisco might be one of the very few that have worked. There's just not many that have really worked, especially in present-day NFL.
Don't you have to let your chief decision maker dictate terms, don't you? In this case, is that what we're both? I think we're both agreeing on this. From I don't know if you can be halfway in and halfway out in this case. I think if things don't work out the way that they want, then it's a natural total reset.
Yeah, that would be what I would do. But again, Carly is. I mean, she's a bit of an unknown, character really in all of this. Is there any sort of hesitancy about not wanting to do, 2 searches in an off season? Granted, your GM would probably lead a lot of that head coaching search, and the head coaching search, I think, can take a little bit longer just naturally. And really when you look at Shane Steichen's tenure, what he's brought to the table, offensive mind, for the most part, that's worked out really well. I get that quarterback has, had issues, but, it really just the Richardson issue. I think the other quarterbacks that have played, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, those guys have actually played pretty good football based off their career, back of their baseball card, if you will. But defense and winning games ugly, that's been an issue. They don't beat enough good teams. That's been an issue. So, he would have to take some strides, I think, in some of those areas, I think, for you to, bring back one of the two. But, yeah, I mean, I am probably more in the camp of you just clean slate it up and fresh blood like no other.
So Kevin Bowen, Fan Morning Show. He, James Boyd, Mark Dykton, weekday mornings here, 7 until 10 a.m. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Have you noticed any at all similarities between Carly Ursay Gordon and her leadership and that of her late father with the Colts?
I mean, I hate to cop out, but I just think we are too early. Like, when I think about the last 14 months, what are the big decisions one decision that I don't think her dad would have done that she has done is take training camp away from Grand Park. Organizationally, they didn't really do much in free agency this year. The draft was pretty status quo. So again, I don't think there was necessarily like big moves there. Obviously head coach and GM, she decided to retain. Maybe her dad's a little bit quicker to that, but granted, I think in a lot of people's eyes, her dad had a pretty long leash with Chris Ballard to begin with there. So I think we're just a little early in that. And, maybe she hasn't been as front-facing as her dad, which I think was to be expected. And we'll see how that plays out. Like, does she talk at training camp? She didn't last year. Her dad usually did talk at training camp. Is that something she's going to do? She didn't talk during the draft. Her dad did talk during the draft. Again, I think these are all like things we probably expected. But I think those are just some items that I'm curious about. And then, when she needs to make a decision, GM head coach wise, I think that will be, the first really, really big moves for her organization for her tenure and just kind of establish a little bit of precedent.
Hey, Kev, in closing here, would we like Caitlin Clark if she were a part of somebody else's organization?
That's a good question. Probably not. I mean, probably too much of the, whining, demonstrative behavior. I think that's probably the biggest negative that people view in opposing athletes. More so than, maybe basketball purists would be like, oh man, have you watched her, pass? Have you watched her, quarterback the game? Have you watched how far she can shoot threes? Maybe honestly, someone like you probably would have a little bit more of an appreciation, but I hear it from so many Pacer fans, for example. I don't like said player on another team because they whine, bitch, moan, etc. And really, she does a lot of that, and clearly her technical fouls kind of back that up there. So, plus, I think there's always an element of competition of like, you're always going to view one of the best just in a little bit of a competitive light of like, they have to go above and beyond to kind of prove it to me. I think LeBron is an example of that, and obviously he. Being such a big rival, being such a big, ouster to the Pacers throughout, Cleveland days and Miami days, that probably adds to it a little bit here. So, yeah, I think if you maybe appreciate the game of basketball and what she brings and how unique of a talent she is, then yes, you can. But I think the first thing most fan bases go towards is, how do you act? And I think that would rub people the wrong way if you weren't cheering for her.
Kev, her most active, rabid, high-level fans, I think, hurt her a great deal because they're so incredibly stupid. When is it the nerds of our world turn into like John Wooden Jr.'s of basketball? The Caitlin Clark thing and that phenomenon started that. All of a sudden, you get all these dorks that think they know something about basketball that are satisfied when you're shooting a step back from 30 feet and you're 1 of 10. Like, that's great. And you want to see more of that. I think some of her biggest fans hurt her in terms of things because they're so stupid.
Yeah, there's just a lot of toxic nature with the groupiness to her and then against her, frankly. I mean, it's both sides of it, but I do think, part of her – I mean, I'm going to use the word cult. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but it does teeter on.
I think jackasses are better. Yeah, you can go jackass if you want because there are a lot of jackasses.
This is like too much. I mean, some of the stuff I can only imagine what Stephanie White deals with. Hell, I see it on social media. I mean, I'm sure the crazies take it even a step further than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
Which, yeah, obviously there's just absolutely zero place for that whatsoever.
Yeah. Absorb more technicals for her. Okay. Seriously, that's when you go, my goodness, what kind of jackass are you? That's what you're dealing with right there. I guess there's some good and bad because they're rabid fans. They're always going to be there. But they're so stupid, they're a detriment in the process. So kind of a weird set of circumstances. You doing okay?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm ready to get it back going here, big time here starting next week. So, yeah, enjoy a little bit of a relaxing final week, and then here we go.
Camp. I'm only up there like once or twice. That's too bad.
Yeah, I assume joint days for you, the joint practices, those final couple days.
Yeah, joint days. That sounds good. JMV, joint days.
Yeah. 420, meet John underneath the tent up there on the northwest part of the practice
Let's
field.
do it, buddy. Good to hear from you, pal. My best of the fam. Tell Brad Bowen I said hello. It's been too damn long.
Will do. You were one of his favorites, so I will relay that message.
Shout out to Brad Bowen. Thanks, Kev.
See you, John.
Quick break. We'll come back. James, we have a weather update right here, right now, courtesy of Fox 59. I wouldn't be the dinger. I'd be the danger. JMV here for the District Tap. 2 locations, Northside, Clearwater Crossing, downtown Indy. For example, you're going to go downtown, Fever playing later on tonight at 8 o'clock. Post up there pregame. And then after they roll up Connecticut, just post-game that bad boy up. TVs everywhere. Happy hour drink specials before you head over to the field house. And damn good food. Entertainment all over the place downtown. And you're getting ready for that game later on tonight. Make sure it's at the District Tab. North side, let's just say you don't want to jack with the downtown. I get it. Stay on the north side. Clearwater Crossing, north side, District Tab. Tell Sammy, the server, bartender, we said hello. Top notch right there with what you're looking for. Have you ever asked about their live entertainment? They got it for you. How about their catering? They have it for you. To find out about that and more, thedistricttab.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Bowen's got the morning show. He and James Boyd. And when Dykton's not on vacation, by God, he's running stuff here. Vacation Dykton. My name is John. Thank you for joining us. Fever and the Sun. The Suns stink. The Fever have zero business making this a competitive venture later on tonight. And you're going to say, well, they did against Seattle last Friday. Well, Seattle's played better recently. The Sun just kind of stink. Do not make it a competitive venture. Agness will join us at the top of the hour. For those of you that didn't know, how many times has Agness been on once or twice? Now, James, do you know? Since I had to apologize for being a jackass.
Oh, to Scott Agness?
Yeah.
We've had him
once,
at least once, maybe twice. I'm not 100% sure.
Not only was I a jackass, I was a jackass for 16 years. 16 years.
Well, it's however long you had been on the air up until the first time.
16 years. I am such a grudge hole. I am trying my damnedest to grow out of that. One of these days, I'm going to be all grown up for all of you. Trying. Like 16 years. It goes back to Kravitz and Eddie. I think I felt the same way about Kent Sterling for a while too, and I'm not. It's not that bad anymore.
You're mellowing out in your old age.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I'm my own version of THC, sitting right here in this chair. I'm gonna change my name from JMV to THC.
I'm sure.
Mellow out.
I'm sure our bosses would absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm sure they
fully
would.
approve.
They like about this much of what I do in general. So yeah. That would not help. JMV, you actually have matured a bit in these last 10 years since I've known you. Thank you, Jim McKinn in Southern California. I can't see it. Some around, I think both James Boyd and then Caleb play basketball with me. I think they both believe I'm completely nuts.
I need to see some footage of you playing basketball. I need to see what's going on here.
Yeah, it just depends on the mood. But I will say this: I don't really get into it often. I get into it with Rick cherry picking Clark because he's the biggest cherry picker of all time, and I can't deal with it. Run your ass down the floor. I don't care if it's a pickup game or anything. Run your ass down the floor. I said the same thing about the Fever 2 weeks ago. You're in L.A. playing the Sparks. I have to sit there in the fourth quarter and watch you guys half-ass it down the floor on the defensive end. I don't want to see that. Nobody out there really likes defense. I get it. I know it's talked about defense wins championships. Great. Well, you know what? If you don't score, you're not winning anything either. But yeah, I don't care. Whatever pickup game you're playing in, like these dudes asked me to play, and a shout out to they're great guys. They're playing for the first time in the Arc. The Arc is down near me, near Bargersville, Greenwood, that area right there off of 135. And Johnny Marlin, the Marlin Academy, runs it. So I don't know if you guys know who this dude is. Chris just pointed this out. I can't make it tonight because I played way too late last night, but he and a group of dudes are playing. And there's a guy named Young Mantis. You ever heard of the Young Mantis? He was on Barstool, and he's from around here. They said he's going to be around. I would yell at him, too, if he cherry-picked. I can't stand cherry-pick. That's awful. Run the floor. Run the floor. And if I don't run the floor, then I don't look for the pass coming back at me if I just stay stationary down the corner and half-ass everything. You know who threw the pass to the cherry picker last night?
Who did?
Caleb.
Oh, wow.
Caleb Zuver.
You're going to have to get on him about that.
Threw the pass to the cherry picker. Bad. Shout out to Young Mantis is going down there and playing later on tonight with the guys. I don't think I've ever met him. But rumor has it he's a good dude. He's the dude that did the videos. Patrick Beverly. I know everybody around here loves Patrick Beverly. I think Patrick Beverly shot a video with him once and said, quote, "That boy bent."
Well, when you Google Young Mantis and Pat Bev, the first
Yeah.
thing that comes up is Pat Beverly reacts to my, quote, deformed body.
That I think he said, "That boy bent."
Oh, man.
Thank you, Chris. Those are good dudes down there. I do at some point want to play in the Arc. It is a new place, and it's something that the South Side, in this case, the far South Side, have needed a while. Midwest Sports Park no longer has basketball. You know, the ISSA, whatever that was over there, has been long gone now. So they needed a facility like they have at Grand Park or like they have with the Pacer Center up in Westfield. So good for the South Side and good for Johnny and the Marlin family and the Marlin Academy. I know my friend Max Landis is a part of that down there too. One of the new head coach and a friend of mine going all the way back to Owensburg in Greene County and Eastern Greene. Mike Burris is the new head coach at Perry Meridian, who, by the way, is going to do an outstanding job. Good friends, much like I am with Dusty May, the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, connected beyond belief, but even beyond the whole connection there, man, he's hardcore about basketball, and you're not going to be able to jack around and get away with stuff. And I'm talking about players and parents, and that's a part of it too. The parents oftentimes can be a bigger pain in the ass than the players. And you got to find that dynamic there where your coach either doesn't have to or deals with that out in front. Mike will do that. Mike will do that. But I have to get to the Arc sometime. I just don't think it's going to be coming up later on tonight. Scott Agness will join us coming up at the top of the hour. I mentioned the Fever and the Sun coming up later on tonight. That tip time is at 8 o'clock, 7:30 with Tidrow, your coverage right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Greg Sankey, who is the commissioner of the SEC, was whining earlier today, actually earlier this week, and we talked about that earlier on the show. That's pretty funny. The Chiefs' renderings of their new coverage, their new stadium. I will say, with these Pablo Picasso classics right here, what is this place called? Manica? It looks pretty awesome. So the stadium will evidently hold 70K, so that's 70,000 fans, and will be built with the intention of amplifying crowd noise. Remember when the Colts played and everybody thought the Colts were piping in crowd noise? So this is going to amplify crowd noise now.
Just amplify.
Back then, man, we just cranked it. I went back in the back. Bill Polian gave me the high side, and I went back in the back and cranked up their Craco car stereo speakers to 10.
Before you were climbing the roof of Lucas Oil, this is what
I
you
was
were
cranking
doing.
it up. I was cranking it up so all those jackasses in Pittsburgh would cry about it. Remember when they used to have the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and they all whined about it? Yeah, I just cranked it up to 10. Bill Polian gave me the high, so he goes, "Hey, JMV, get back there. Right behind the toilets in the old RCA Dome." There it was, right there, the Craco car stereo. Boom. Collective voices generating what they say here, James. 142.2 decibels in Seattle, which evidently broke the record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what record that was. That's what they're going for here. Amplification.
Trying to break a record.
Trying to break the record. Quick break. We'll come back. I mentioned Agness top of the hour. Garth Brooks tickets coming up a little bit later on, too. On the road tomorrow, Speedway City Garage. Have you guys been there before? I've heard nothing but how outstanding this place is. Coffee, beer, NASCAR, hauler parade, Main Street, Speedway. You don't need to RSVP. Just show ass up and we'll have a good time. I promise you that. Tomorrow, Speedway City Garage. We start at 3, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Hey, John here for Big Red Liquors. 100 plus locations, state of Indiana. 19 new, in fact, in and around Indy. There's one near you. That is bigredliquors.com. Friends, what are we thinking about this weekend? Are we ready to party? Certainly you are. You always should be, thanks to Big Red Liquors. You got to keep that cooler full of greatness and fun. Black Box, yet not the band from the early 90s, Strike It Up style, but no, 50 milliliter, 2 for $10 right there. I've not had it, but people say, yeah, that's really good. How about Vibe, 50 milliliter, 2 for $6 right there, too. I mentioned the beer that they have, Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, 16-ounce, 18-pack cans. You're going to save a couple of dollars there as well. And just so much across the board in terms of spirits. You're going to find a Big Red Liquors, 100-plus locations. Also powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night on B105.7. To find that location nearest you, that's bigredliquors.com. Hey, John here for the Lou T Center. Month of July is big. You celebrated 250 back on the 4th of July, right? 250 here in America. How about 250 for 250? The deal all month long. Dudes that start testosterone therapy and stay with it. You got to hang with it for 90 days. You're going to earn $250 back. Thanks to the Low T Center. If you're over the age of 40, the low energy, low sex drive, that's problematic, and not feeling like yourself, you don't have to stay that way. So celebrate 250 years of America with the Low T Center and their 250 for 250 deal going on right now. Bringing back energy and vitality. That of your youth is worth celebrating. FixMyLowT.com. That's FixMyLowT.com. This offer ends July the 31st. Terms and conditions apply. FixMyLowT.com.
The Ride with JMV.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Good song, James. Thank you. Welcome back to the show. Scott Agness coming up at the top of the hour. Whatever weekend on B105.7. That's coming up on Saturday, the All Request Saturday night, JMV Takeover. So with B105.7, we are having a comedy show. They asked me to be a part of it, as I guess now I'm officially on the staff of B105.7 with the incredible All Request Saturday Night JMV Takeover, which, by the way, man, if you guys aren't working upstairs on trying to get this across the state and then across the country, come on now. Easy, makes money, takes one person to do it. Seems like perfect, James, for what we do. It's almost like you're even half-assing it, and you're really not. Perfect for what we're doing, buddy. Is it not?
It is.
Perfect. But we're having a comedy show. They said, hey, you're being a part of a comedy show. And I said, all right, I'm down with it. That's cool. Mad Hatter in Greenwood coming up on September the 12th. That is the day before the Colts open up against Baltimore, which is convenient, although it's at 6 o'clock. Normally I'm doing the JMV Takeover. I'm going to move that to September the 11th on a Friday. And we'll do the JMV Takeover. And then me and Sean Copeland and Nick Jordan and Annie will do a comedy night. A comedy night at Mad Hatter in Greenwood, which evidently, after 2 days of being open to buy tickets, is completely sold out. So that's awesome. And hopefully a lot of you got tickets for it. But that is, again, coming up on September the 12th. That's a Saturday night, Mad Hatter in Greenwood. It should be a blast. I've done this now twice. I did it with Scott Long twice. Once at the Old School Crackers in Broad Ripple and another time in the Egyptian Room at the Murat. And I will tell you, as I told James yesterday, I can be a bit vulgar. I know that doesn't surprise you, but a bit vulgar. But it's all for the sake of fun and enjoyment. So if I get out there and do like 5 minutes on my junk, don't be surprised. It may happen. I have not put anything together yet, but it is on the inbound.
I mean, we did a whole 45 today on jocks and
on jocks and cups and pouches and everything. True. So I'm ready. The other thing about it, the last 2 times I did it, it was completely off the top of my head. I just went out there and went with it. The one routine I did, James, I did the challenge flag of life. It's like when you're walking down the street and you see this dorky-ass dude with this hot chick, and I'm throwing a challenge flag going, what?
The challenge flag of life.
Yeah. Just like, in the NFL, you're throwing a challenge. I don't know about this call right here.
Need an official review?
I need an official review on why this chick wants to walk with this dork. And it worked out good.
You just walk down the street and throw flags at people?
And I also did, this has probably been done before. I did worthless superheroes. And at the top of the list was Aquaman.
Oh, like real superheroes.
Yeah,
so you weren't just making them
worthless
up. Okay.
superheroes. I did Aquaman, and then what was the name of the Native American that like grew really big?
Oh, hold on, High Chief or something.
It might have been. And then I did Wenzel, whatever that guy's name was. Snitzelbrink. Remember the little guy that you got him to say his name backwards? He was a villain. He said his name backwards, and he disappeared.
I have no idea.
Snitzelbrink or something like that. I'm going to cuss, really, but it sounds like Snitzelbrink, but it's
also,
not.
Apache Chief.
Apache Chief
was the name of that one.
What? But like Aquaman always stayed in the Hall of Justice. What the hell could he ever do? If you had to clean the fish tank or fix the toilet, then he was good. But otherwise, he was useless. So that was one that I did back in the day.
Is it Mr. MXYZPTLK.
Yeah, we talked about this about a month ago. Mitzelprick, or
Gotcha.
whatever his name is.
I don't think it was that one.
I think it was exactly that.
I don't know if I think he's a super villain.
Yeah, he's a villain.
Okay.
Yeah. He's worthless villain. He always walked right into saying his name backwards and he disappeared into a different universe.
Oh.
Dumbass.
I'm impressed by your comic book knowledge right now.
How about that?
Yeah.
See, I do have a little bit of nerd in me.
Just a little bit.
I do. JMV, if the Colts go 9-8 and miss the postseason because the defense sucks, no pass rush, no backers, but score 29 a game, I can see Steichen coming back. Steichen and Jones back. Ballard gone. So I asked this question of Kevin Bowen last hour. You guys can pass this around amongst yourselves right here. Is there a scenario where you believe that head coach stays, general manager, and a lot of others go on the upcoming season with the Colts? Just a thought. Quick break. We'll come back with that. Scott Agness, Fieldhouse Files, top of the hour, Fever Sun later on tonight. Off season for the Pacers and more. Scott joins us next. Oh, I had to text him earlier today. Had a little plumbing issue going on, and I did reach out to the best in plumbing, Lance and his local team, LD Smith Plumbing and Drains, at 317-927-7186. And there is the owner of the company, Lance Smith. Boom, right back at me. Shout out to you, Lance. There is nobody better in plumbing than Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. Write this number down. Keep it handy, 317-927-7186. And whatever you need in the form of plumbing issues, they've got you covered. I mean, the side swiping, like I was surprised about this morning, or just the stuff that you want to get done that you've been thinking about for a while, that's LD Smith Plumbing and Drains, 317-927-7186. It's online, ldsmithplumbing.com. Hey, John here for Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st, at row 37 in Fishers. I mentioned I was up there yesterday. Oh, man, the inventory is robust, meaning they have a bunch of it right now. With whatever you're looking for, whatever your styles might be, they've got you covered. Service after the sale and the incentive to buy, which will save you money. Hard target this, the car manufacturer Buick. In the day, it was known as an older dude's car, like me, like an old person's car. It is state of the art across the board right now. Different styles, meaning different price tags with the Buick Enclave, but all encompassing the best SUV on the market right now. My friend Eric Wilson can get you behind the wheel of one of those right here and right now. Do it. Finally, the car buying experience that is top-notch you've been looking for. Eric Wilson, Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st, State Road 37 in Fishers.
The Ride with JMV.
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Speedway City Garage tomorrow, the NASCAR Hauler Parade. Me and coffee and beer is a awesome proposition. You guys need to join me out there. I mean, all of you, not just a couple of you, not just a handful of you. I mean, all of you tomorrow. Speedway City Garage, me, Jeff Matthews. We'll hang out together with you tomorrow. Dan Wetzel's finally going to show up tomorrow too, right? Like he forgot yesterday. I thought, man, I was so concerned that, man, I wonder if he got caught up in the firings at ESPN. And I'm glad he still has a gig, but his ass just forgot. Well done. Well done. Wetzel's going to be on here tomorrow. I did, before I get to Scott Agness, I want to mention this. 3 years ago, yesterday, I believe, but basically 3 years ago, and I think about this all the time, we lost our good friend, Ron Sexton, Donnie Baker. And, you know, one of the reasons why there's a lot of Donnie Baker stuff the past 24 hours or so that you're going to find in social media, especially on Facebook. And that's just part of what I'm going to remember Ron. Ron was such a longtime good friend of mine. You know, going all the way back to Fall Creek Road, back when he used to work with the Colts, even back further when he was on, you know, My Indy TV 23. He got started with Mark Patrick while Mark was at Wish TV Channel 8. A tremendous baseball fan that ultimately was so good at comedy, there was really no holding him back. And he became as hilarious of a dude and a stand-up show as you're going to find anywhere. And a testimonial to that is just sit back and watch some of these videos that you can end up seeing now, especially more prevalent, you know, on the anniversary of his passing on social media. He was just an absolute genius. But even more than that, he was a great friend, and I miss him. 3 years later, it is still hard to comprehend that Ron is no longer with us. And I wanted to give a shout to the friends and the family of Ron. You know, on a day like today, we are thinking about him and how much we miss him and how much better we were when he was a part of our lives. Still here, being funny, just being Ron. I miss that. We miss that a great deal. So, thinking about you, friends and family of our friend Ron Sexton. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is from Fieldhouse Files. Scott Agness joins us today. Good afternoon, Scott. How are you?
Hello, John. Doing well. Getting ready for a WNBA All-Star break here.
Is Sophie Cunningham, are there people that actually dislike her out there? Is she as polarizing as this ESPN.com article would explain her to be?
Definitely polarizing because she leaves no room for doubt. She always says exactly how she feels, and that's something, as you know, being in the media, we appreciate. There's no sugarcoating. If you ask a question, she's going to give you a direct and straightforward answer. And so, definitely, I think some don't necessarily like all the things that she has to say, and the way in which I think also too the joy and the fun and the sassiness that she plays with. That's one of the things she was telling me over the weekend at her camp up in Carmel is it's okay to play with an edge. It's okay to be a boss out on the court. That was what she was trying to instill, among many things, into these young girls.
Does her game back up her popularity, or does her popularity off the floor, is it more overwhelming than her performance on the floor? Is that fair to ask?
I think so, and it's kind of a hard to measure, but I would say originally probably, John, it was the popularity, and now it's the game. She is having a really, really strong season, right? I really settled into her role, originally started, then came off the bench, and that, quite frankly, is where they need her because they need some scoring, some energy, some juice, quite frankly, off the bench, in addition to her three-point shooting. So as much as it would be great for her and the league and this team for her to be in the three-point shootout. Make no mistake, she deserves it. She's a top 5 three-point shooter in the league this year, just as Lexi Hall was last year when she was included.
You know, it's funny about, and we'll get to that point of the lack of all-star invitation, all-star weekend invitation, the three-point shooting competition in just a second, which is absolutely asinine. But did the Fever know what they were getting in her, what they have in her right now when they brought her in?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's delivering right now, John, exactly what they had hoped for. Some energy, some three-point shooting. She would space the floor. She could attack. She could play within the flow of the offense. I think this year now she's starting to deliver upon exactly why they acquired her via trade last year.
That's Scott Agness of Fieldhouse Files. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So Kelsey Mitchell, nah. Three-point shooting competition. Sophie Cunningham, nah. Three-point shooting competition. Listen, at the very least, you have to have Sophie Cunningham a part of something, don't you? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense that there's no Fever player represented. And I get maybe Caitlin did not want to do it and prioritize here rest and recovery. And the same probably, quite frankly, goes for Sabrina Ionescu, your defending champion. I think that's more detrimental to the three-point contest. I love the fact, even though I didn't like the dynamic this past year in the NBA, John, of Damian Lillard not playing a game at all, but still participating in the three-point contest. What I liked about it is he wanted it, and we don't see that much anymore with these all-star games, the Pro Bowl, whatever it is. And so I think it would be a real miss for the league if you don't have the somebody from the most popular team represented on the Friday night. Remember, this is the only team that's had every game on national TV. They are the it team. Somebody should be out there, whether it's Clark or somebody else.
The numbers, it seems like that they're breaking records every time they're on a national broadcast like that, too. So it would stand to reason that maybe you'd utilize it more and put that under more of a focus than what the WNBA ultimately does.
Yeah, and it does take two sides here to tango. What we do know, if Cunningham's told us over the weekend, yeah, I haven't heard from anybody, but I would take full advantage of that opportunity. So we do know her willingness, unclear just yet of Mitchell, even Boston, although her attempts are down a little bit, but she's had a tremendous year shooting from beyond the arc, and that was the one thing that was pushed on by the coaching staff. I remember Stephanie White in training camp. What do you want to see from Boston here in year 4? The only thing she specified is I want her to willingly take threes confidently. She started to do that. She, too, could deserve it, and sometimes they like to mix in bigs and make sure it's not just a guard three-point shooting contest. Maybe you could have included her with that. She's going to be out there anyway for the All-Star game. And a lot of times with these, John, they like to already include people that will be playing in the game anyway. So it's easy for someone like Clark, Boston, or Mitchell. But also keep in mind here, there's a higher prize too. So there's a more significant number associated with those being included. This is all part of that new collective bargaining agreement. Anyone that participates in it gets $10,000. The winner gets $20,000.
So, Scott, 6 technicals for Caitlin Clark. We all know the situation. You get to 8, you get suspended. So the likelihood, at least timing-wise, she's going to get at that point, again, at some point in this season. Is she taking all of this a couple of days ago in her response to the Q&A you guys are lobbying? Or I should say, James Boyd, I think, was the asker of the question here that she was being asked. Is she taking this too lightly?
I don't think so. I think she recognizes what makes her great, and it's her competitive edge. It's her being fiery. I think we have seen her in certain games where she knows needs to tone it back or just can't make an episode necessarily with the officiating. Here's what I think it comes down to for her, more than anything, is she's got to stand her ground for her health's sake. I think she's begun to take some of the lack of calls and the reason she is arguing as a direct shot at her health and her availability. I don't think this is trying to be confrontational or maybe like the rest of the league, everybody trying to get more consistently. The times that she's went down and then got up furious, it's been times that, look, she had a quad bruise, or she didn't finish the Phoenix game because of more pain in her lower back, quad, all that area. So it's all connected. I think that's why we're seeing her be a little bit more fiery, and I wouldn't expect that for that to change, because if it's costing her games, it's costing everybody.
Well, and she can't, with this, though, cost her teammates, the organization, the fan base games. It can't come to that. And while I agree with what you're saying about the lack of calls, you and I both know this, and everybody knows this by now. The WNBA officials suck. And it's not like all of a sudden they're going to be transformed into being adequate officials. So you yourself and your game, you have to adapt to that. And a part of that adapting to it is making sure you don't compromise your situation, meaning your playing time with your teammates at any point in the season that's non-injury related. I think that would be incredibly detrimental. Thus, I think you don't have to tone down your enthusiasm for the game, but you just have to understand, Scott, from my angle, what you're dealing with these officials, and that's that.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fair, and I also think she understands her importance to this franchise and her availability night in and night out. Yet at the same time, I think they're trying to prove this greater issue. I think we've seen some progress in the number of calls and some progress in the freedom of movement, but clearly, as you stated, I mean, there's still a long ways to go. And for those that are just jumping in, the last couple of years, this has been an issue the entirety of the WNBA. It's just now a gigantic spotlight because, as you referenced earlier, more and more of these games are getting incredible viewers. I mean, their game against the Liberty over this past weekend became the second most watched WNBA game in history at over 2.5 million against two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference.
Scott Agness of Fieldhouse Files. He is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It is certainly an interesting dynamic. It's funny. I asked Kevin Bowen this guy a little bit earlier. It's sometimes the most rabid fans of Caitlin Clark out there, I think, are detrimental to Caitlin Clark because they're so rabid. They're stupid. They're ignorant about stuff. And the constant bashing of the head coach, for example, for not absorbing the technicals, is just ridiculous. And I think sometimes that rabid cult-like fan base of Caitlin Clark is detrimental to her overall view and cost. Not on the floor, but just in general terms to her image.
Yeah, I think we felt a lot of that in the last couple of months, especially, and everybody's willing to jump in on that conversation. What I haven't liked, John, is the fact that the number of former players that haven't stood up for her, that haven't gone to bat for her and discussing what she's experiencing, the realities faced. Like, as much as we talk about the other players involved, I think it's remarkable how at age 24, think about the negativity we see. Imagine what her Twitter feed has to be like. Her Instagram has to be like. I think that's why she mostly remains off of it. Instagram, she's certainly on and leaves some of the hilarious, wittiest remarks in the comments section. But outside of that, I mean, several individuals, including Stephanie White, have just deleted social media altogether. That's not a healthy way to live in general, right? If we have to totally get rid of it. So I think you have the rabid fan base where someone can do no wrong. You have the fan base that's entirely jealous or wants others to get attention. And then you also have the outliers that just have no interest in what's going on, but want to make themselves heard and be part of the conversation and try to capitalize on this movement.
What's up? Scott Agness with us. What's your expectation for this team coming up after the All-Star break? There have been moments, and maybe the last two games would be those particular moments where you're thinking maybe they catch a little bit of fire and live up to those high level of expectations we had. Are we expecting to see that coming up after the All-Star break from this group?
I think so. It does feel like some things in different ways are starting to click. They still have some of those lulls, right? They'll get up by 7 after 1 and then be held to 12 points in the second quarter and trail by 6 at halftime. It's more often than not, it's seemingly those middle two quarters, it seems like, and then they have to ratchet things up to get back in the game, and then it's really a toss-up late to go. But the fact that, I mean, there's so many, we sometimes talk about all those negatives. There's so many positives to it. I mean, the fact that Kelsey Mitchell is on an incredible tear right now, 20-plus points in 10 straight games, and it comes so easily to her. I think the fact when Aaliyah Boston, what she's been able to produce in her time out there's certain things we still need to see more of. I want to see more from Lexi Hall, especially in that starting position. Same goes with Monique Billings. You need more out of that 3 and 4 spot. But what Cunningham has been able to do to the bench, Ty Harris in spot moments, even Michaela Timpson, I like some of that they've been seeing because we know what they've been able to do and will be able to do at the top. It's those secondary pieces, those the role players here that really have to buy in and lean into that specific role that will be able to help carry them into the postseason. We've seen that in the W. We've seen that in the NBA. It's less about top heavy talent, right? It's more about having the depth to sustain through injuries, adversity, suspensions, whatever.
Scott Agness with us. Before I let you go, that is also a quality we believe that the Pacers have. And
Absolutely.
We've seen the off-season moves, and we saw the 19 wins last year. They were compromised, obviously, heavily with injury, as we all know right now. But you look around the landscape of the NBA, those nationally that cover it, there is a lot of out of sight, out of mind given coming up in 26 and 27 for their belief in this Pacer team. Is this something that just comes naturally because of the season they have, or are people just not dialed in with the belief like the Pacers are in this core group and the bounce back to where they were before the Halliburton injury in Game 7 last year?
Yeah, great question. I think it's a number of things. First of all, it's just Indiana being overlooked, as they always are. And I would argue, John, this franchise has always been better when that's the case, when they are thought to be playing from behind, backs against the wall, if you want to use that overused cliche there. This team's always been better in that way. Secondly, we don't know what Tyrese Halliburton looks like. And when he is the fulcrum, when he is the key piece of this Indiana team and the way in which they play and the way in which they were built, that is a significant question mark, both because of the Achilles and the way in which the shingles directly infected him. And then the fact that they really didn't make much changes. And so it's tends to be more obvious and more interesting to some of these, especially national shows, right, to discuss this is the landmark change. What's the most significant move of the offseason? Well, bringing in Kelly Oubre Jr. is not going to move the needle. So I'm not surprised that something like that has not been part of that conversation. The Pacers' moves was Halliburton, Zubats, and now they lean very much so on their continuity.
Hey, Scott, before I let you go, and if you don't want to answer, that's okay. It's a little bit personal, but have the Fever, the Pacers kind of changed up their pace on the way you're able to cover the team? Has that changed at all?
What do you mean by pace?
Well, I mean, their decision that was stupid.
Entirely. Yeah. I have no access day to day to Fever practices, Fever games, press conferences.
What can I do to help that out? Is there anything I can do?
I'm not sure. I've tried to. If you can initiate any conversations to bring me
initiate some dialogue for you. Because listen, I think you do a really good job, and I think this is all pretty much bullcrap.
My biggest challenge in all this, John, is all I've asked is just to have a conversation. Let's get in a room, be grown-ups, and discuss, and let me hear their side. Let them hear mine. And we just haven't gotten to that point yet. My coverage goes on. Yeah. I was out there in Las Vegas. I will be in Chicago for WNBA All-Stars.
Well, let me tell you this. I think you do a fantastic job. And I think that in this era, Scott, for this team, this organization, I don't think you can push people that are young, enthusiastic, and have a purpose in doing this like you. And even if you're old like me, I don't think you can't afford to push anybody away. And I just kind of wondered if there was anything we can do around here, because we have you. I mean, hell, you're on like 3 times a week around here as well. I just kind of wonder if there's anything that we can do to help.
No, I do appreciate that. It's remarkable. A number of business people I saw out in Pacers have no issue with them. It's just 1 or 2 people that, are clearly blocking the way and do not want me around and do not understand the justification there. All coverage here is good coverage. I encourage people to see and read the stuff I'm producing on a daily basis. Why wouldn't you want that around?
Well, we'll help in any way we can, because I know that I'm speaking for everybody here. We appreciate your content on the shows, pal. We do. And especially me after 16 years of jackassery. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Nah, you're all good. I appreciate your concerns there.
All right. Well, and I didn't want to bring it up. If you didn't want to go there, you didn't have to go there. But I just thought, man, if there's any way, because we use you so much, if we could help, we absolutely would. Scott, again, thank you. And we'll direct people to Fieldhouse Files to see your content, whether you're active being able down at the Fieldhouse or not. Does not matter. We'll push people there for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You got Scott Agness right there at Fieldhouse Files on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Man, James, I better not do it, huh? Let me go ahead and move on.
Yeah, let's do that.
I just thought I would ask because it's been a minute and it's so stupid. James says break. We'll break right here. By the way, we got to go early. Garth Brooks tickets before I bail. Right now, weather updates, courtesy of Fox 59, James. Oh, I got a tremendous idea. Do you not have Connecticut water systems in your home? Why not? If you don't, you know what? You don't have the best water possible. I do, thanks to Joe and Connecticut Water Systems. Here's how all this transpired. So they come into my house, they test my water, and I'm on a well. It's absolutely awful. And they transform the awful well water into glorious, incredibly drinkable, bathable, and washing the clothes water that I've been looking for, all thanks to Connecticut Water Systems. No generic equipment here, customized to my specific needs. Exactly what they will do for you. So, Connecticut.com. For folks like Joe that can come out and test your water and find out what Connecticut Water Systems can do for you. Get them out to your place today. Sign up, log on, and sign up. Connecticut.com. Shout out to Rob and Barringers, one of our favorite places. And so would be Dan Moyer and Moyer Fine Jewelers. That is in Carmel. Who is digging on the luxury watches right now? Whether you're looking for an entry-level luxury watch starting around $700 or maybe chasing that iconic piece worth several thousand, Moyer has hundreds to choose from right here, too. In fact, 23 watch brands and the Midwest's most incredible collection of pre-owned Rolex. If you're building that collection, that is the place to go. The place to go for luxury watches in the state of Indiana. Moyer is your watch store. Heavy-hitting luxury brands like Omega, Breitling, Grand Seiko, Hublot, and boutique brands like Fears, Nevada Grinchen, Chrono Swiss, and the Midwest's most impressive selection of pre-owned Rolex, all under one roof. That's Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel. Expertise, guarantees, Dan Moyer, Lauren and the gang. Moyer Fine Jewelers, 146th Street in Carmel. That's MoyerFineJewelers.com today. MoyerFineJewelers.com.
The Ride with JMV.
I don't know what the hell's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Not just yet, but we're getting closer. Garth tickets. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 shows coming up in August, James. Not quite yet, are we? We're not yet to start.
But now that you said the words, I'm waiting for people to start calling.
What do you think would be an interesting number? I'm going to throw around a number total. We've gone 60, I think, the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Think we could go higher?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think yesterday we got close to 80 people.
All right, Tim. That's coming up in a second. Sit tight for that. Red Sox 15th consecutive win. That is matching a club record. Longest win streak in team history 80 years ago. That goes back to 1946. And their American League championship team led by future Hall of Famer Ted Williams. Their 15th straight win earlier this afternoon. You know what's funny about that? They are still 6 games back in the AL East of Tampa Bay. 15 consecutive wins. Reds 5-3, top of 7 over the Mariners. That is in Seattle. Cardinals, Angels, top of 6, no score in that contest. Cubs and Tigers later on tonight. I believe that is an ESPN game for you Cubs fans. I mean, hell, I didn't even know ESPN still had games and stuff on. Well, they lay everybody off and not have games anymore. It's so weird. Other than live action, it is few and far between for me on ESPN.
Really?
Yeah. I so much still love the time when they used to have Denise Austin and what's her name from Hawaii, Kiana Tom, doing aerobics. Ooh. Log rolling, all that stuff in the afternoon. Yeah, all this, like yelling at one another back and forth, can smooch it and get the hell out of here. I think that sucks.
Not a fan of the hot take machines.
No, the hot take machines can stick it. Truly. So outside of live action, I don't even know when the hell I watch. True story. It's Big Nige right there from Hammer and Nigel in the Hall. Quick break, we'll come back. Garth Brooks on the other side. You guys get ready for that. Live, and I'm counting on you guys to all show up in Speedway tomorrow. When and where and why and the level of fun we're going to have is going to be massive. Can you guys take it on a Thursday? Sure you can. Tell you all about that and more, and give somebody a chance to win Garth tickets next. You know, I feel so much better. Going back 2+ years ago, I remember when they said, hey, we here, this is Thomas at Premier Weight Loss, said, hey, you want to lose some weight? And I was really scared. I was worried that I would lose about 5 pounds and gain back 8. And here's what I did. I get down to business. I changed up absolutely everything. And then 80 pounds later, at 35% body fat, which is down to 11% body fat now, I have never, and I mean ever, felt better in my life thanks to Thomas and Samantha and Lauren at Premier Weight Loss. If you want that really good feeling again, if you've lost it, if you want to improve your health, now is the time. GLP-1 weight loss injections in Indy, and if you do the work alongside, you will feel incredible. You will see results. You will reach your goals, and the goal orientation of Premier Weight Loss is absolutely unmatched. They keep track every single month to see that you stay on track, stay on course to reach those goals. Now the month of July is a great time to do it because you don't always have to go into their place, either North Meridian or in Fishers, to get checked up. You can do it virtually online. Living in this busy world, you have to. That's pwlnd.com to get started today. Also ask about their electronic toning, their Botox, their skin tightening, the cosmetic treatments that they have, all under one roof at Premier Weight Loss. PWLND.com. Get started today. Tell them I sent you. That's PWLND.com. That is Connecticut Water Systems. And Joe, get that no-cost test today. Had the best water possible in your home. Connecticut.com. Again, no-cost water test, custom-built system, all from Connecticut Water Systems. Sign up today. Get them in your home. Shout out to Joe and the gang. That's Connecticut.com.
The Ride with JMV.
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, here we go. 70 on the text line at 317-239-1070. He's going to go see Garth Brooks on Us. 4 shows in all. Cambridge Fieldhouse coming up in August. Tickets available now, but you can win them right here. Number 70. 70. I want to see those texts coming in. And I mean fast and furiously here, and faster than this. This is almost a half-assed effort so far, James. We can't have it. If the host is never going to give you a half-assed effort, there's zero way you should give me one. Let's go. Number 770. Everybody has a chance. Go get it. Garth Brooks, 4 shows, tickets available. Number 70, 317-239-1070. This show tomorrow, everybody. You guys going to show up? Speedway City Garage. Coming up tomorrow. Speedway City Garage. The Hauler Parade is going to take place because we're going to be on Main Street. But we got coffee. Coffee served up. Founders Grounds Coffee and Pax Verum Brewing has us tomorrow, too. We've got coffee and beer for everybody. I cannot wait to see you guys. Speedway City Garage. That is coming up tomorrow. My thanks to Scott Agness, Fieldhouse Files, Kevin Bowen, Fan Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m. right here with James Boyd and Mark Dykton on the Fan weekday mornings. James, great job out of you. Thank you all for listening, being a part of the show. I have so much fun with you. Cannot imagine spending time without you. Speedway City Garage at 3 tomorrow. Let's all get together and have ourselves a party. It starts at 3, Main Street and Speedway tomorrow. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.